Welcome to the past and present. Please like, share and subscribe. Unveiling the epitome of vinicultural opulence and scarcity, we present the top 10 world's most extremely rare and exorbitantly expensive wines, a collection that showcases the pinnacle of winemaking artistry and the allure of these liquid treasures. 10. Chateau de Kem, France, 1847, price $100,000. Chateau de Kem is a prestigious winery located in the Sauternes region of Bordeaux, France. The 1847 vintage holds a legendary status in the world of wine. This particular year was significant for several reasons. In the 19th century, the Sauternes region experienced a favorable climate for producing sweet wines, known as botrytized wines. Botrytis cinerea, also known as noble rot, is a fungus that concentrates the grape sugars and flavors, resulting in a luscious, honeyed, and complex wine. The 1847 vintage was a remarkable year for botrytis development, creating optimal conditions for the grapes to be affected, leading to exceptional wine quality. Chateau de Kem, known for its dedication to quality and meticulous grape selection, produced an outstanding wine in 1847. 9. Domaine Leroy Musigny Grand Cru, France, 1999, price $105,000. Domaine Leroy Musigny Grand Cru 1999 is a wine with a remarkable history, both in terms of its prestigious vineyard and the renowned producer behind it. Domaine Leroy, headed by the visionary winemaker Leroy, is considered one of the most iconic and influential producers in Burgundy, France. Leroy took over the family's estate, Maison Leroy, in the 1950s and later established Domaine Leroy in the 1980s. Her uncompromising pursuit of perfection and commitment to biodynamic and organic farming practices have earned her a reputation as a pioneer in the wine world. The 1999 vintage was a standout year in Burgundy, offering favorable growing conditions and producing wines of excellent concentration and balance. For Domaine Leroy, 1999 was no exception, and the Musigny Grand Cru from this vintage is regarded as one of the estate's finest achievements. 8. Domaine de la Romany Conti Grand Cru, France, 1990, price $123,900. The vineyard of Romany Conti, located in the Côte de Nuits region of Burgundy, is home to some of the most revered Pinot Noir vines on the planet. It is classified as a Grand Cru, the highest designation for Burgundian vineyards, and it is considered by many to be the crown jewel of the Côte d'Or. The 1990 vintage was exceptional for Burgundy, and Domaine de la Romany Conti crafted wines of extraordinary depth and finesse. The 1990 Romany Conti is celebrated for its intense aromatics, rich fruit flavors, and impressive aging potential. It has garnered immense praise from critics and enthusiasts alike, cementing its status as one of the finest wines ever produced by the estate. Due to the limited quantities produced and the wine's exceptional reputation, bottles of Domaine de la Romany Conti Grand Cru 1990 are highly sought after and command some of the highest prices in the wine market. 7. Henry Jayer, Vosne Romane Croix Parentu, France, 1999, price $137,000. Henry Jayer, a legendary winemaker in Burgundy, France, is widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in the region's winemaking history. His Vosne Romane Croix Parentu vineyard in the 1999 vintage holds significant historical importance. Henry Jayer was born in 1922 and began his winemaking career in the 1940s. He took over his family's vineyards in Vosne Romane, including the Croix Parentu plot, in the 1950s. Jayer's commitment to quality and innovative winemaking techniques quickly earned him recognition among his peers and wine enthusiasts worldwide. The 1999 vintage is considered one of the finest in Burgundy, characterized by ideal weather conditions that led to perfectly ripened grapes. In the hands of Henry Jayer, this vintage reached its full potential, producing wines of remarkable depth and balance. 6. Ampoule from Penfolds, Australia, 1951, $168,000. The Ampoule from Penfolds, Australia, 1951, is an extraordinary and historic release from one of Australia's most renowned wineries. The Ampoule is a limited edition and highly exclusive offering that showcases the exceptional craftsmanship and legacy of Penfolds. The story of the Ampoule begins with the 1951 vintage, which is considered one of the greatest in the history of Penfolds. Grapes harvested in that year exhibited exceptional quality, resulting in wines of remarkable depth and complexity. Only a very limited number of ampoules were produced, making it one of the rarest and most coveted wines in the world. Each ampoule is accompanied by a beautifully crafted, bespoke wooden presentation case, and comes with a unique authentication certificate signed by the winemaker, Peter Gago. 5. Chateau Lafite, Rothschild France, 1869, price $230,000. Chateau Lafite Rothschild is one of the most prestigious and historic wineries in Bordeaux, France. The 1869 vintage holds a special place in the estate's illustrious past. The history of Chateau Lafite Rothschild dates back centuries. The property's vineyards were first planted in the 17th century and eventually came under the ownership of the Rothschild family in 1868 when Baron James de Rothschild acquired the estate. The following year, in 1869, the estate produced a remarkable vintage that would go on to become one of the legendary wines of Bordeaux. The 1869 vintage is celebrated for its exceptional quality, marked by a combination of favorable weather conditions and meticulous vineyard management. 4. Chateau Lafite Rothschild France, 1945, price $300,000. The history of Chateau Lafite Rothschild's 1945 vintage is intertwined with the significant events of World War II and stands as a testament to the resilience of the estate during challenging times. The 1945 vintage was produced during the final year of World War II. The war had a profound impact on many aspects of life, including winemaking in Bordeaux. During the war, the estate faced numerous challenges, including labor shortages and logistical difficulties. Despite these adversities, Chateau Lafite Rothschild managed to produce an exceptional wine in 1945. The vintage is celebrated for its remarkable quality, characterized by intense flavors and a concentration of fruit. The wine's depth and longevity earned it a place among the finest vintages of the 20th century. 3. Chateau Cheval Blanc France, 1947, price $305,000. The history of Chateau Cheval Blanc's 1947 vintage is one of triumph and uniqueness, making it one of the most legendary and sought-after wines in the world. The 1947 vintage in Bordeaux was marked by extraordinary weather conditions, particularly during the summer. A record-breaking heatwave and drought led to extremely concentrated grapes with unprecedented levels of ripeness and sugar. These exceptional conditions resulted in wines of remarkable richness, depth, and intensity. Upon its release, Chateau Cheval Blanc's 1947 vintage immediately garnered widespread acclaim. Critics and wine enthusiasts hailed it as one of the greatest Bordeaux wines ever made, often considered on par with other legendary vintages like 1945 and 1961. 2. Screaming Eagle Cabernet Sauvignon USA 1992, price $500,000. Screaming Eagle Cabernet Sauvignon 1992 is an iconic and transformative wine that played a pivotal role in reshaping the landscape of American fine wine. The story of Screaming Eagle began in the early 1990s when a former real estate agent and wine enthusiast, Gene Phillips, purchased a small vineyard in Oakville, Napa Valley, California. The vineyard was planted primarily with Cabernet Sauvignon grapes. In 1992, the first vintage of Screaming Eagle Cabernet Sauvignon was produced under the guidance of winemaker Heidi Barrett. The 1992 vintage was met with critical acclaim and quickly caught the attention of wine collectors and connoisseurs. Its intense and opulent fruit flavors, seamless structure, and exceptional balance set a new standard for California Cabernet Sauvignon. 1. Domaine de la Romane Conti Grand Cru France 1945, price $558,000. The history of Domaine de la Romane Conti's 1945 vintage is a compelling tale of resilience, scarcity, and excellence during a tumultuous period in world history. The 1945 vintage was produced during the final years of World War II when France and much of Europe were experiencing the devastating impact of the war. Despite the challenging circumstances, the vineyards of Domaine de la Romane Conti, located in Burgundy's Côte de Nuits region, managed to produce a wine of exceptional quality. After the war, as France began to rebuild, the 1945 vintage of Domaine de la Romane Conti Grand Cru gained recognition as one of the greatest vintages ever produced by the estate. Its rarity and exceptional quality elevated it to the status of a legendary wine. Due to the scarcity of bottles produced and the wine's outstanding reputation, Domaine de la Romane Conti's 1945 vintage has become one of the most coveted and expensive wines in the world. It is often considered a holy grail for collectors and wine enthusiasts, with prices reaching astronomical levels at auctions. Thanks for watching. Well, come along with me to the next journey. Till then, please subscribe to The Past and Present and click the bell icon to get notified about our upcoming video.